Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Running Wild Podcast. I'm your co-host, Rich. Alongside me, as always, my co-host, Runz.
Yes, sir.
So we got a lot of wrestling to cover today, so we have tons of results to cover. We have 2 special interviews with Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, and we also have the announcement and beginning of our contest to give away 2 tickets to Michael Elgin's Glory Pro event on February 19th. Listen to the entire show for details. We'll be revealing the contest rules at the end of the show. Just really quickly, just want to remind you that we're brought to you in partnership with pwponderings.com and Last Word on ProWrestling.com. And you guys should go over and also check out ROHworld.com. We're featured there once in a while as well. So, heading into this weekend, the first thing that we did Friday night was we actually got to go to Ring of Honor's final battle, which is technically not the final battle because they did have a match the next night. But anyway, just before we get started, what did you think overall?
I mean, it was great being there. The atmosphere, the environment of the Hammerstein was, something special. And it's been a while since they've been there, so that was cool. And, the entire card was, we discussed briefly afterwards, but, then watching it again and thinking about it, it really is one of the best wrestling shows I've ever been to. The crowd helped, but the top 3 matches were amazing to be there for and just dope. And, Cody Lethal was a amazing moment when, everyone just immediately started booing him, and it was brilliant.
I'm glad to hear you say that you really enjoyed the show that much because I've been watching a whole lot of Ring of Honor this year, so I'm kind of really super invested in the product. And I was one of those guys who when Lost was on and everybody else jumped off the ship at the end and I didn't want to watch the last season because things got crazy, I kept watching. And sometimes I hear people talking about I'm done with The Walking Dead, and I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I keep watching. So. And then, full disclosure.
Walking Dead is so different because we read the comics and we know what, occurs. So, whatever. But anyway.
But, full disclosure, I was lucky enough to be able to go in before the show started at the Hammerstein Ballroom, and I actually got to sit around and I we're going to share this later in the episode, got to interview Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. So, I asked you first because I wanted to make it clear that, I was super excited. I ended up leaving before the event started to get something to eat. Starbucks messed up my order, so I ended up getting 4 shots of espresso, which was probably a terrible idea. And then I was just stupid amped up for the show, and I think Runz can attest to the fact that I was kind of jumping out of my seat before it even started, kind of going crazy.
Not much unlike the guy next to us who literally jumped out of his seat and up and down when the Motor City Machine Guns came out, and I've never, in all of my trips to wrestling, ever seen a grown man do that. And it was for the Motor City Machine Guns, and I just really, if you're gonna get that excited, it's for those guys. It was pretty crazy.
I don't know. For me, it speaks to how excited everybody was about the show. That you could really.
Yeah, maybe he was just that excited that it was starting. All right.
You can really feel how excited everybody was, and and you're talking about So the Machine Guns teamed up with Dijak in the first match. They ended up losing to the Rebellion team. That's the team of Kenny King, Rhett Titus, and Caprice Coleman, who were formerly the Cabinet, but they've dumped that gimmick.
I mean, if we run through every match, it's not going to be quick.
Well, I was just mentioning the result. I thought we could just do that, and we didn't have to dwell on it. So the 30 seconds I'm allowed to talk about this one, Donovan Dijak went over like a god, it seemed. The New York City audience, he hit a plancha from the top rope, and then just stood by the crowd, and everyone was kind of going crazy. And he really put on a great performance. They ended up losing, however, though. I was a little surprised by the loss, but at the end of the day, the Rebellion needs to pick up a victory to get some steam, so all in all, it made sense.
Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen before the show, and it was a good opener, and glad to see the Rebellion got the win. Dijak got the spotlight, and that was it.
You really, he really had to remind us that that's what he thought was going to happen before the show. So clearly, if you guys go back to last week's episode, you would see that I was wrong already. All right, so
I didn't say you were wrong. I love the Rebellion, so it was, an easy pick.
But
I thought they needed the win.
You did hear what he called people in the audience, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, we won't, say those things on air. I'm sure there's children listening, but like he smacking the hats off people and throwing the streamer as hard as he could at the person. Like, it was great. It was fantastic.
Yeah, he's really great there. All right, so then I'm not going to remember things in order. I don't think.
I mean, there's we just have like the top four matches. Were phenomenal. And if you want to start with what happened first, that was Cody and Lethal, right?
Yeah, Cody and Lethal was just so you kind of had your basic kind of babyface matchup, babyface versus babyface matchup. I love Rhodes' entrance music where he comes out and you hear Rhodes, where we're going, we don't need Rhodes. Referencing Back to the Future is 1,000% a way to get me to like you. So I was super, super into it. I was reading online earlier in the week that some people were like, not too excited about seeing Cody show up in this spot. And then they just kind of turn the tables and the referee accidentally gets bumped, and then suddenly Cody just low blows him, and then boom, Crossroads match over.
Hey, that's I kind of think now that you say that, it kind of stands out because he didn't get that massive pop that I thought he would. He got the respect that he deserved, and he got a nice pop, but it wasn't like, oh shit, Cody Rhodes. And I think when he low-blowed Lethal, and because it was Lethal, everyone was ready. Everyone was just ready to hate this guy. They were ready to turn on him, and it was a really smart move by Ring of Honor or Cody Rhodes or whoever came up with that angle. But that was just really good.
Yeah, it had like an NXT, not NXT. I'm sorry. What do you remember when NXT like took over Raw at the end type thing? And they attacked Cena.
Yeah.
It wasn't as crazy, but it had that feel of like, wow, things are breaking down. He was flipping the table, and they were all confused, and then he pushed Torino. So I think it was a job well done there.
And just so the audience knows that your sleeping patterns are nothing new, and I don't want them to get worried. But during that that NXT invasion, you were sound asleep. I watched the whole thing. Rewound it, woke you up. Nope, fell right asleep again. Rewound it again, woke you up. Nope, fell asleep again. And then I eventually just rewound it, paused it, and left. And that was it. It's all right. Hopefully he'll watch this when he wakes up. So, that was however many years ago now.
I try not to remember how often I fall asleep early. So we'll move on. So other big matches we had the 6-man tag team tournament finals took place. And it was the Kingdom, the team of Matt Taven, Vinny Marseglia, and TK O'Ryan versus Kushida, Jay White, and then Leo Rush, who was apparently put back into the tournament after ACH had subbed for him. So I thought this was pretty predictable. I mean, it was a good match. I enjoyed watching it, and I think that the work rate in the ring kind of distracted me from the fact that I knew who was going to win in the end.
Right, and I when I watched it afterwards and I heard them explaining how, like, oh, Rush was on a tour of England and that's why ACH wrestled, I was like, wait a minute. Okay, I kind of can accept that because that makes a lot of sense. This was the team, ACH subbed in, I didn't know, whatever. So that was good. That was soothing right away. But then the match was great. The beginning where, they teased that Taven was going to lose for the third time in a row at Final Battle, super quick. That was great. For a second, I think you had went to the bathroom or to buy a beer or whatever, and I was like, holy shit, like, what? And then, he kicked out, we went on, and it was a really good match. I was impressed by the Kingdom. I liked the entrance and the matching gear and everything, so I'm excited to see them. I wasn't the biggest fan of Taven at the beginning of ROH, and neither were you, but he's grown and he's improved as a performer, and I like his kind of grungy look and the ego that he has with the Kingdom. I think it really just works.
The only thing I didn't like about it was the ending. I didn't think that they needed to. Marcelia ended up elbow dropping the referee from the top rope, where he could have easily elbow dropped the pinfall attempt, and I just thought it wasn't needed because I thought you wanted to establish these guys as a credible threat and a strong trio on their own without having to cheat to win the titles. Like
well,
that.
they didn't cheat to win. They broke up the pin.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. There was the ref bump with. I don't really love when you have like a ref get knocked out twice on a card. It had been done with Cody, so I just don't like it being done twice. That's my only issue. All right, so then really quickly, you had Liger appearing, which is really cool, and just to hear Jushin Thunder Liger, he ended up losing to Silas Young, which I think is the right move. Silas Young has just been announced as we're taping that he has agreed to a 1-year contract with Ring of Honor. So, if he's going to be sticking around, he's going to be part of their product and, important enough to make sure they lock him up, then I think at the same time you need to have him go over, especially a 54-year-old Liger who just can't do the same things in the ring that he used to.
Seeing Liger is always cool. That's the second time we got to see him. And, Silas definitely should have got the win. He did. Talk about cheating to win. He's got to cheat to be the 54-year-old guy, So if you want to talk about that, then that's not a good thing either. But whatever. It was what it was. I liked it. Silas is a perfect character. And, to be honest, I don't think he could have left. Like, where was he going if he leaves Ring of Honor? He's going to go to the indies that he wrestles on already. He's not going to TNA. There is no, profit there, really. And he's not going to WWE. So I think Ring of Honor is perfect for him.
I agree. I think that there might be some room for him in other places. I don't know. Maybe WWE is signing everybody. I mean, they went crazy today and signed like 3 indie female stars. They're just scooping everyone up. So, I mean, I even heard.
Yeah, but they're scooping up the young guys. Not. I don't know. They have enough of that Silas Young type of character there.
I'm not really sure if anybody has enough of the real man. Just saying.
All right, you can have as much real man as you want.
All right, moving on to the ROH World Television Title match. I thought it was unbelievable. Bobby Fischer wasn't able to compete, and they had said so earlier because his mother had passed away. So obviously condolences out to his family, and just hopefully he gets through his trying time. And, he was missed in this match because I felt earlier when I had kind of previewed the show that he was going to be like the ring general. These guys are all young and flying all around the place and kind of crazy, and I thought he would be that kind of balancing force that would tie it all together. In the end, it didn't seem like they needed it. There aren't really a lot of words to describe this match. You just got to watch it.
Right, and I think, being there the first time ever seeing Ospreay live was pretty remarkable. There was 3 or 4 times when, I dropped my phone, I just stood up in shock and, looked around, I threw my arms up, just what the hell, how is this guy? And it's not like it's spots I've never seen before either. I've seen them, but they're still just crazy in person. So I didn't like when, I got home and everyone was like, oh, this was a spot fest, I didn't like this was terrible, or whatever, because I didn't feel that way. I felt, the spots are what Ospreay does, and I thought they were incorporated well into the flow of the match. Him and Dragon Lee was up-tempo. Skrull got all his stuff in, and I think it was on the PWP Honor, the Final Battle review, right,
yeah,
where somebody was talking about, they didn't like the spin. And I was like, but that's what adds to him being a douche, because it's so unnecessary that when somebody counters and hits a clothesline or an elbow or whatever, it's like, oh shit, yes, he finally got caught. So I love everything that Skrull does, and I'm glad to see he retained. I thought it was a good way to do it, and just like you said, a great match that everyone should really watch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I care anymore about stuff being a spot fest. And also the thing might be for me is that not seeing Ospreay all the time.
Right.
It's new, maybe in 6 months you'll hear me say, okay, he's got to change his stuff up. He can't just keep doing this over and over again, But at the same time,
see, that's the thing too. sorry to cut you off.
No
He
problem.
finds new ways to incorporate things, and that's what's cool. So even if it's the same flip style move, it's done from a different move or in a different way or in a different spot. So it works.
The craziest thing I saw, I actually just finished watching the ROH Leicester Reach for the Sky tour event. Yo, at the end of the tag team match, okay, Matt's got Skrull ready for the best Meltzer ever. Nick goes to jump off the rope as he always does. Ospreay is recovering pulls himself onto the apron, jumps off the top rope, on the other side of the turnbuckle at the same time as Nick. Hurricanranas him in midair, but in a way that made Nick flip and then still hit the best Meltzer elbow. I couldn't believe the coordination it would take to make sure that you hit that Rana and you lock it in and it's a good Rana, and to get Jackson, unbelievable. I mean, this guy he ran off Skrull and just did a shooting star press, like a foot off. He just does a shooting star press running.
He's not really fair, and I didn't even know that the day of or the day before Final Battle, like, that he was on ESPN and like they had a thing about 23-year-old sensation. I was like, what the hell? Like, he's an independent wrestler and he's on ESPN. That's nuts.
He's 23.
All right.
But I was happy Skrull won too. They were super over with the New York crowd. That whole, it was great. Just watch it. That's really all I can say. Then what do we have? The tag team match?
Yeah, which, I mean, just got even better. It was probably the match of the night. The Bucks and the Briscoes, everything you can ask for. It was great. There's really nothing to say. It was everything you expect from these two teams, and they took it to another level. And go out of your way to watch it.
Match ended with 22 super kicks. I counted, I think.
Oh my god, that ending.
And then, if it wasn't enough that these guys put on, and these guys who have wrestled a lot of times, they've wrestled plenty of times, they still found new ways to make it really exciting. And then you have the lights go out, and I'm like, oh no, what's going to happen? Is Punishment Martinez coming out? I didn't know what was going to happen. No. It's Broken Matt Hardy. And he's happy to be back in the honorable ring, and he thought it was a great match between the Bucks of Youth and the ramshackle rednecks. And then he says that he's going to come to the honorable ring and he's going to delete the Bucks of Youth. I mean, everyone went insane. It was just absurd.
The pop when he came on was the entire building went nuts, and that's just crazy. So, supposedly, like, they don't have a contract or anything with Ring of Honor. This was all like the Bucks creative control type thing, using this, bringing them in. So hopefully something comes of it and we get the match and matches from them in Ring of Honor and we move on, because that would be great to see in Ring of Honor on that big stage, and really entertaining stuff.
No, 100%. And the Young Bucks did re-sign, and they've signed for 2 years. So that's going to be excellent. They just have them there, have them have a say in what's going on with the company.
With them at least.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that they're not leaving for WWE. WWE has done some good stuff with some of the guys that they've signed from the Indies. I'm not gonna lie, and a lot of great stuff. I'm downplaying it here, but selfishly, I want the Young Bucks to stay Ring of Honor, and
they're so good at what they're doing right now. I don't want to see it change. I don't want to see it get softened up. I don't want to see anything, like, I love the Young Bucks. I don't want to see them watered down or anything like that. They're in Ring of Honor, they're in New Japan, they're in PWG. Those are three of my favorite companies, three of the top companies out there right now. So, no problem. I will happily watch them in all three of those places. Have, slightly different roles, slightly different matches in each one, and that's all you can ask for.
Totally agreed. And then we had the main event. Wow. They announced there was no DQ, and I'm really happy that the no DQ didn't come into play in terms of any interference, because that was one thing I didn't want to see. This is just, this harkens back. They had a hybrid MMA style match years ago in the Hammerstein Ballroom where Cole was actually busted open like from the mouth and just like pouring blood everywhere, and these guys both ended up bleeding all over the place. You had chains, you had chairs, you had tacks. They pulled out all the stops, and then at the very end, Kyle O'Reilly, and then they did the right thing here. Kyle O'Reilly made Cole tap right in the middle of the ring while rolling in tacks, just to make it a little bit more crazy. And he's your new Ring of Honor World Champion, and I thought it was a great moment for him.
Yeah, I think it could have been better if he got the pinfall, just because the crowd would have counted the 3 and knowing the finish was coming, and they didn't hit his music right away, and it just kind of was like, wait, what just happened? So it was a little confusing, but I enjoyed it. We expected it, and it delivered for everything we thought it would be. The no DQ, like you said, was good because it didn't get too crazy. They didn't mess it up and overcrowd it with everyone running in, so that was perfect. They just let it come down to these 2 guys in the ring, taking out all these years of anger on each other, and it was what it was supposed to be, and it was a good moment. It was a good way to close the show, and I'm happy that we were there to see it.
Yeah, it was fantastic, top to bottom. It was a great night. I had an excellent time. Little did I know that I'd be speaking to the new Ring of Honor World Champion earlier in the night, but it was definitely exciting, and you guys should definitely make sure that you stick around for that at the end. I'm going to throw.
Not little did you know, because you spoke to both of them, so one of them was entering and leaving the champion.
All right, man. I was excited. All right, it was great times, and it was just. Either way, it was nice to be able to see that both of them were just really dedicated to the company, and hopefully that they'll be sticking around, as we go forward.
Yeah, I'm Adam Cole is a guy I want to see in WWE and see what he can do on that stage.
All right. So I totally agree with that. Well, but for now, I want to keep him in Ring of Honor. So moving on, we had TLC. Every match really played into this being a pretty solid pay-per-view.
Yeah, I agree with that. It was a solid show from top to bottom. All the matches were pretty decent. I enjoyed both of the women's matches. I was pleasantly surprised to see Alexa Bliss get the win. I love the Wyatts getting the win. The pop was great for them. AJ Dean was good. I liked Ellsworth tossing Dean off the ladder. I thought everything was done well, and I enjoyed the continuation of the stories.
No, I totally agree. I mean, even Kalisto and
right,
what's it called? Kalisto and
Corbin,
Baron Corbin. That was a good
now,
match.
Obviously, Miz and Dolph was really good too. But yeah, I enjoyed Corbin Kalisto as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, this turned out to be better than I thought it was going to be, just because, and it's not. Again, it's not the SmackDown roster's fault. It's not anybody who is wrestling's fault. It's just, these quick-fire pay-per-views. It's difficult to get excited about. I just felt we just had Survivor Series. And I'm going to keep saying this, and I'm going to try to stop talking about it as much. But it was a part of how I felt about the show.
Yeah, it's the pay-per-views always feel bigger when, we had 4 months in between them and they got to build up all these stories, because then you want to see these guys fight at the pay-per-view. But now there's so much content, there's so much time to fill that, we end up seeing these guys fight on a weekly basis or every 2 months, and they just get watered down by the time it's supposed to be a meaningful WrestleMania or Survivor Series or whatever the case. Brock feels so special because he's there once every 3 months, and the same goes for when these older guys come back. It's, oh shit, this guy hasn't been here in a while. This is cool. It's not, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn for the 842nd time on Monday. Not that I mind those guys wrestling, but you get what I mean.
No, completely agreed. So do you want to break down any of the show, or do you want to go right into Monday and Tuesday?
No, I mean, it was a solid show, like we said. Most of the matches were good. I enjoyed the title changes, and we advanced those stories on Tuesday.
Does oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, this alternating pay-per-view throws me off all the time because I'm like, oh shit, I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow. Oh wait, it's on Tuesday. And then I'm just thrown off for the whole week.
Yeah, that kind of gets me too. I mean, I think that's a little bit of us being spoiled, in the past.
Right, it's just how it's worked for the past 20 years. See a pay-per-view, watch what happens on Raw. It's just how it works.
But what's really nice also is that, then what you get is something totally different on Monday night.
Right. And that's the beauty of it because, then Monday is in a little bit of competition with Sunday and they want to do a little something and it's cool to be like, oh, wait a minute. No, I'm going to get to see Sasha and Charlotte, not, Becky and Alexa. Like, that's nice.
True. So,
not that, that's a downgrade. I was just using them as an example.
I don't know. Totally. So, I actually thought that this was a really great week of WWE programming. I enjoyed both shows. I don't really, I don't normally kind of say that I enjoy like every single minute of it, but I really thought that both shows were really well done, like all together.
Yeah, I think Raw was a little bit better again this week, and I think that's because of the new developing storylines that we're getting there. But I love SmackDown. I love what they did with the Wyatts, and Bliss cutting a good promo and that continuing. So I thought what they did was good. I'm glad they didn't make AJ wrestle just to get that out of the way. I'm enjoying this new Ellsworth because it's like you can see that happening. Everyone has dealt with someone like that who shouldn't be in a position that and they think they're the man, and I really enjoy that. So that's fun to watch.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know. I've shared it before. It looks like with the developments of SmackDown that at some point Ellsworth is going to be out of this triangle, or where he's being kind of removed from the title picture, and that's what I've been kind of waiting for. I don't know what they're going to do going forward. Look, it worked. I thought it was effective. I think they've done the right things with it. I'm just done. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm finished with this storyline, and I'll be fine seeing whatever else he does, and I'm sure he's not going to be, suddenly winning the Intercontinental title and stuff like that, so that'll be fine. See him get crushed by some more people and just be a joke around, and whatever. We'll see what happens in a year.
I completely agreed. So, let's see. Anything else? Well, what do you think about the Lana Enzo stuff?
All right. This week was fantastic, and I've really, really enjoyed this storyline, and it's kind of two random guys, or three, who weren't really doing anything right now, and I love that Enzo is that kind of goofy, not the smartest, like, oh, wait a minute, I shouldn't be going to this hotel room right now. And I thought, as soon as she invited him, I was like, okay, Rusev is going to kill him in that hotel room. And then that's exactly what happened. I thought it was done well. I've really enjoyed this storyline, man. It's been a good part of Raw and something different,
Oh, completely agreed. It kind of harkens back to the Attitude Era a little bit, with kind of the racy things going on, and I don't know. I like it. I think it's good. At the same time, at some point, I think this whole idea with Lana teasing people or just kind of over and over saying "this means I can only be with you" thing is just getting me a little bit. I just want it to be a little bit more about Rusev, but in this scenario, it works well. It just feels like a big part of the Rusev Reigns thing was that Reigns insulted Lana. So, I just don't want to keep touching upon that over and over again.
Well, yes, but like Flair stole Miss Elizabeth, and then Savage thought that Hogan was stealing Miss Elizabeth. Like that's just what happens when you have your wife or whatever there. The jealous heel is always going to be that jealous heel. And I think that's a good development of the Rusev character and the Rusev Lana characters as a whole. And I think, like you said, it's been a big part of Reigns. It's been a big part of this End Zone cast, and I think, it's adding to my interest in him.
Just to be clear, Flair doctored those photos. He never actually stole Elizabeth. And Hogan was the luster, as you remember Jesse Ventura saying.
Right. So, like I said, this stuff happens, and it's really been a good part.
I really liked when Jesse Ventura called Hogan the luster. Because he's lusting after
Luster
Elizabeth.
Monsoon.
It was just...
So yesterday, yesterday was December 7th. Like on the board in social studies class was, Pearl Harbor 1941. So this kid is like, what's Pearl Harbor? So I'm explaining it to him, and he's a big wrestling fan. So I was like, if you go on the WWE Network and you watch some old footage, you will hear this guy, Gorilla Monsoon, say, oh, he Pearl Harbored him, and that's like a sneak attack. And he was like, oh, okay, a sneak attack. All right. So, thank you. Thank you, wrestling. Thank you, Gorilla Monsoon. You have made my life so much easier.
At the risk of losing any patriotic Americans, I went to Pearl Harbor.
Geez.
I went to Pearl Harbor, and I'm not really a museum or like a historic site kind of guy, but I was so excited to go to Pearl Harbor. And, of course, I took a picture ambushing somebody while I was there because I actually handed the camera off to somebody else. I was like, please take a picture of this. This needs to be recorded because it's very important to me. 100%. I miss Gorilla Monsoon so much.
Yeah, I think, I've enjoyed also the Kevin Owens Jericho stuff. I thought, they keep taking steps forward with that, and it continues to be entertaining, and I don't mind it at all. But, other than that, I think that's pretty much it for Raw and SmackDown, right? Anything else? The Wyatts are Freebird rule.
Yeah, I like it, but the only thing I don't like about it is that New Day's also using it. So it's not
right,
and it's not unique.
They posted the thing like, oh, they've dug deep into the history books and pulled out this little wrinkle. And I was like, wait, what? New Day uses the exact same thing. So it's not, like you said, it's not unique. It's not rare. But anyway, that's okay. It makes sense, so that's fine. I like that element,
I like, all right, staying kayfabe. I just like the idea that I could go up to two amazing tag team wrestlers and just be like, yo guys, let me be part of your stable, and then boom, they win the tag team titles and I get to walk around with it.
Yep.
That idea is great. We did completely forget about Big Show coming back with a big beard. How excited were you?
I was very not excited.
Not at all? No? Okay. So I guess that's what you have to say about that. What did you think about the Charlotte-Flair interaction at the end? Charlotte-Ric Flair interaction, I should say.
I thought that was good because Charlotte, again, was just such a nasty bitch that it's perfect for her character.
Yeah, no, I just think... although I'm a little tired of seeing Ric Flair crying, but, that's just me.
Well, I think that's just him now.
But do you think he's really... do you think...
Yes. Yes.
Okay. It's because she says some things, and he's probably like, yo, the cut's deep, man.
He takes that shit to heart, yeah. It's real life. If he's not that good of an actor that he cries like that just on cue.
And I guess the one last thing I'll say about SmackDown, okay, it's why do wrestlers celebrate in the ring a title win? Why do they do that? Why do they come out the next night? They know, it's gonna be interrupted. Just have a private party. I don't understand this.
No, it's your party and no one's invited. You think you're gonna be the one that changes everything.
I guess because you're inviting WWE Universe type thing, maybe?
Yeah, sure. I don't know.
All right. Well, moving on. So NXT, kind of the big thing that we got to see this week was Samoa Joe ended up losing the title to Shinsuke Nakamura while they were over in Japan.
Whew. Man, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, man, that was a sick match. I just kind of absolutely crazy to see that fan reaction. And they pulled the right move. I mean, I don't normally like the titles going back and forth, but I thought that, it made sense here, and it's nice for Nakamura as well.
I just think a retaining of the title in a close match where you really thought Joe was going to get the win would have been just as acceptable. But, I get you want to just have that crazy pop, and they got it. I love the red streamers being thrown, for him. And you could see, like, at the beginning they were singing his song. And then, like, when he was walking past them, like, they just stopped and were, like, trying to grab him and touch him. And it was like, yo, he's a rock star. Like, he is the man in Japan. And that's so sick to see.
Who do you think's bigger, him or Takahashi? Tanahashi, yeah, sorry. Takahashi is the Bullet Club guy.
Yes, definitely Nakamura than Takahashi. I don't know, man. Nakamura with his charisma is just on another level. He's on another level than any Japanese star I've ever seen. And Tanahashi is really good, but he's more of that just cool babyface John Cena,
He's such a rock star, though. He's such a rock star.
He looks like one, yes. Nakamura is, oh man, it's so cool to see that guy. Like, I never would have thought he would be in WWE, and to see he's here and in a big spot on NXT, and I pray and hope he's on the main roster soon enough. But man, it's going to be so awesome.
And we're going to have a number one contenders kind of mini tournament going into the San Antonio show. I think they announced Ty Dillinger is going to be taking on. I'll come back. You have Ty Dillinger's in the tournament. You have Roderick Strong. You have No Way Jose is going to be taking on Andrade Cien Almas. Yeah, let's see who else is in it. I'm blanking out right now, but it looks like the kind of thing where Ty Dillinger was going over, and he was basically upset, and he feels like he shouldn't be on the roster anymore. And then William Regal announced that he'd be part of this tournament. So I think that's going to be something to watch. It'll be interesting because there's part of me, I really like Roderick Strong, so I'd like to see him win. At the same time, I think that Ty Dillinger is ready, and maybe deserves this opportunity to get there.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Dillinger, but I also agree with you that this could be a nice spot to debut-ish and push Roderick Strong and, make him that babyface to, at that point it was Samoa Joe, but now, I don't know, because it's Nakamura, so maybe you have
Eric
Rude.
Young's in it too. Eric Young's in it in the tournament as well, so.
Rude's got to be in it. Like, I would say Rude is the guy that wins.
I wouldn't mind that. I love listening to his music.
It's pretty glorious.
The nice. DIY is going to. They basically had a showdown in the ring. They came out. They were happy they have the titles. Then the Authors of Pain came out and basically were like, "Hey, we deserve a shot because we're undefeated and or Ellering spoke for them. We won the Dusty Rhodes Classic." And then the Rival came out, and they were like, we deserve our match back. So Regal announced that that the Revival will get their title shots or their rematch before the San Antonio event, and then the winner of that title match will end up defending against the Authors of Pain.
Mm-hmm.
Great storytelling, just kind of classic building one guy up on the left hand while you have the champions in your right hand, and then you kind of have him square off. So. I think.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a little too quick to pull the titles off DIY, but I don't mind that as a big way to build the Authors of Pain, and maybe we split up DIY. So I don't know.
No, I'll be very upset if DIY drops the titles.
All
All right, so that's NXT for the week. Oh, and then I guess just some of the signings we can talk about real quick. WWE announced today that they signed Kimberly. They signed, so she's been on NXT before. They signed Heidi Lovelace, who's been kind of all over the place on the indies. They also announced that Mickie James is going to be signed to the SmackDown roster now. So, picking up, they have announced that they're going to do a women's tournament similar to the Cruiserweight Classic. So signing some of these talents is a smart move. Making them a little bit more known before the tournament, I think is a really smart approach.
Yeah, I completely agree. Mickie looked great against Asuka, and I guess earned her spot back on the main roster. And I've seen a couple, some of Kimberly and Heidi Lovelace. I believe in Ring of Honor or something of that nature back in the day. But whatever. I'm looking forward to them on NXT, and they need more new blood in that division. So it makes perfect sense.
Oh, completely agreed. Then we're going actually this weekend to Evolve 74. So just real quick, I'll run down the card, and you just you jump in and you tell me what you think. So
go ahead.
All right. So by the way, we have I'm pretty sure if everything works out right, we have seats right by the entrance.
Now that you jinxed it, we'll be in front of the spotlight.
Clearly, it'll be fantastic. But so we have Dustin versus Chris Dickinson.
Okay.
I'm actually pretty excited
Dustin's
about this.
Been really good.
Yeah, he's been really great. Dickinson the next night will end up will be wrestling for a contract.
Yeah, they're winning that one.
Yeah, so he'll. So I guess we can just mix it up a little bit. Jaka and Dickinson will be facing Darby Allin and Peter Cassah the next night in Melrose. Melrose up in Massachusetts. They're actually going to be doing a double shot with Beyond Wrestling that day, so it's kind of a crazy day of wrestling. But back to 74, we're going to have Darby Allin versus Brian Cage, which is... I just love this guy's underdog. See, this is the guy that I like as an underdog. He's just smaller, but, he doesn't look as ridiculous as James Ellsworth, and I think he's... I don't know, somebody that they've... I don't know. I'm really behind him, so I'm excited. I've never seen Brian Cage, so this will be a first for me. So I think that this is going to be a great match, and we're going to see Darby Allin do something crazy. And I think
Brian Cage might kill him.
We have to say,
and that's what's going to be awesome, because Brian Cage is a humongous freak, and it's going to be pretty cool to see him in person. He's really agile for being as big as he is. And it's going to be, like I said, pretty cool to see him in person, and taking on Allen, I think, is a perfect opponent. I think he asked for the match, or maybe Allen asked for the match. I think it was Cage, though. So I'm pretty sure he's going to kill him, and, that's going to be pretty absurd.
And as we always say, Darby, please don't die.
Please don't die, man. Please.
Come on. You have Drew Gulak versus Jaka. I think that... because of the fact that Gulak is going to end up facing Tracy Williams in a catch point explodes type event.
Yeah, which I would have been at this one. I would have wished happened at 74, but I understand why not. Continue.
Yeah, I totally get that. So I think Gulak goes over here. I think still a strong showing from Jaka, but I think that Gulak comes out on top and looks strong going into the next night.
Yeah, and, I think because... or, maybe purposely, the La Boom show is the first show. Mm-hmm. We don't get to see Nice getting the contract or Gulak getting the contract, because they still have that one more night in them. So, hopefully, I'm pretty sure after he faces Williams will get that win, catch point alive and well, or whatever the case, and Gulak will get his contract and just be on Raw, which is just pretty ridiculous.
But we do get Matt Riddle versus Jeff Cobb.
They've wrestled a couple of times, and it's kind of becoming one of those hot matches on the indies, and this will be the first time seeing Cobb ever in person, and man, I cannot wait for this match. This is going to be something really cool, really special, and I'm so glad we're going to be there.
Oh yeah, man, I'm totally excited for this. I also have never seen Cobb in person. I've just loved Riddle's work. I'm gonna be looking to see if he's wearing his moccasins to the ring again because it is cold outside now. But just kind of really looking forward to. I've heard great things about these two, and instead of going and watching anything on the internet beforehand to see what they've done before, I want to see it just completely fresh and new. So I'm going in without watching it, and we'll see how it goes.
Yep, and just while we're on Matt Riddle real quick, they announced this week that he's going to be taking on Shibata, I think January 21st, something like that, for the Revolution Pro title, and man, that's pretty freaking cool to see Shibata, who is one of the most insane wrestlers on the planet right now, taking on Riddle in England for the title. It's kind of surreal, like I feel like Riddle is the hometown boy, from Evolve, from Laboom, but so to see him blown up is pretty awesome. Couldn't be happier for the dude.
Yeah, I mean, he was just actually, I think he was in China. WWN went out there.
Just him and the WWN president. So, in case there was any question of who the face of that WWN company is.
And clearly, it's big because, there was an exchange on Twitter where I believe he won't be wrestling with AIW Wrestling anymore. Just because, I guess he's a bigger star now and he wants to have a say in the way he's booked. So, totally understandable. A guy should be able to have a little bit of input about his career, obviously. So, this guy's got nowhere to go but up.
If he's the biggest star in Evolve, and because of that, getting booked on PWG and all over the world, he can't be going and taking losses on AIW and stuff like that. So if you're going to be pushing that he doesn't look good on your show, then that's probably not a good idea because he's one of the biggest stars on the rise in wrestling today.
Totally agreed. All right, then we also have Chris Hero versus Dick Togo, man. This guy, WCW versus NWO N64, he picked Dick Togo in 1986, so this is pretty insane. I can't believe this guy's still wrestling.
Well, he was retired for a minute and just came back out, so it'll be interesting to see. I've obviously never really seen him wrestle, and I don't even really want to go online and see. I just kind of want to see what it's like. I'm assuming this is going to be one of those strong style kind of matches, and that'll be awesome because Hero is pretty great at that.
Completely agreed, man. Hero's been lights out, and I just love to see him. And I really love when he faces somebody that I'm completely behind him for. So I'm going for Hero all the way here. It'll be nice to see him tussle with Togo, but at the same time, I think this is going to be a really good match.
Yep.
All right, and then we have Cody versus Cody versus Ethan Page with the Gatekeepers. It'll be interesting to see the way they kind of go forward with him. Obviously, they don't have to acknowledge anything that Ring of Honor's done. He's been the face, and really Ethan Page is completely a heel here. So I would think that Ethan Page is going to win this one with Cody not really having an attachment to Evolve. More than it seems like a couple shows here and there. And Ethan Page is if you went on SI.com, the Extra Mustard, Gabe Sapolsky actually wrote something up about writing these shows, and he wrote about how he feels that Ethan Page is one of the better promo guys in the business right now, and how he's going to be a pretty big focus for Evolve going forward. So, I think that Ethan Page is going to have to make sure that this is a good match because being a big promo guy and being excellent, that can only get you so far, especially in a company like Evolve. You really need to show that you can go with anybody.
Yeah, I agree. And Page is a little bit different than a lot of the guys there, where he's a better talker than he is a wrestler, and that's not a knock on his wrestling. He's just that good of a talker. And, he's really entertaining. He knows how to get the crowd behind or against him. And it's been great to watch his character evolve. But, I think it's been pretty obvious that he's on the verge of being a big star for them because he's getting wins over guys like Sabre. That doesn't happen all the time. So it's going to be really interesting to see, being in the ring with Cody Rhodes and in this little program with him will do wonders for Paige anyway, win or lose. And, I agree with you that he should get the win somehow, whether it's by nefarious means or clean. But, I'm looking forward to this match. I think it's going to be really good.
I completely agree there. And then the last match on the card is going to be the tag team champions Tracy Williams and Fred Yehi will be defending against Ricochet and Peter Kasa. So that's going to be pretty sick. I mean, I think Tracy Williams is really coming into his own. Seeing Ricochet, anytime I get to see that guy is great. Fred Yehi is just an absurd human being, and Peter Kasa is good in the ring. So I think that bodes well, and it's going to be an entertaining matchup.
Yeah, I've enjoyed Kasa's work, since he's been involved or wherever I've seen him. So I'm looking forward to this match. It'll be cool to see the high-flying moves that him and Ricochet put together. And, I don't think we see a title change here, but this will still be a heck of a match, and it'll be enjoyable.
Oh, 100%. I agree. I don't think there's a title change at all. Do you want to spill into the next night?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so head into the next night. They're actually going to be heading up to Massachusetts. It's the second time that actually the New York show is not the last show. So, I'm a little like meh. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that that's occurring.
I mean, usually it's still the bigger card of the two, so it doesn't really matter.
You're right. So we talked about Alan and Kasa are going to team up against Jaka and Dickinson, and I think we both know that with the contracts on the line, you would think that Jaka and Dickinson are going to win this one.
You would think, yeah.
Then you have Chris Hero versus Dustin, which we haven't seen this because they were kind of aligned with each other for a while. So, like I said, Dustin's been kind of really stepping up his game. He tweeted out something pretty funny. He said, with all these indie people being scooped up, you guys are really stuck with me now. And, I'm happy to be stuck with him. I think he's a good talent. I want to hear him a little bit more on the mic. So hopefully they kind of just give him just a little bit, just to develop his persona.
I'm not going to complain because we have, a bunch of good matches at 74. But I think Williams and Gulak and Hero and Dustin would have been just so much better. I love Boom. And, you could slide Togo and Hero over to the next night and, you could change things around, but you don't want to stack it too much in one's favor. Yeah. So I understand, but, I'm definitely looking forward to this match. It'll be really good. Dustin has been phenomenal. Someone who I've really grown to enjoy as a performer and someone who I look forward to booing every time because the way that he takes it in and reacts is just fantastic.
Totally agreed. So I think that I think Hero can win this one, and just Dustin needs to look strong. Then you have.
I could see Dustin cheating to get the win.
I'd like
some Galloway interference or something.
I would. I hope Galloway's there, please. I love hearing his voice.
Flew 24 hours.
Traveling, and you just say, bro?
That's the reaction I get. Oh, Drew Galloway.
Oh, it's so good. Then you have Fred Yehi versus Jeff Cobb. He's a tag team champion, so I'm a little torn here, but I kind of think Cobb goes over. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think he loses. I think we see Riddle get the win the night before, and then Cobb bounces that out with the 1-1.
Then you have Gulak and Williams is going to be great, and then you have that added backstory that it's kind of like Catch Point coming to a head. They already have. Now it's like kind of the fallout from that. And with Gulak leaving, presumably at least sooner rather than later, I think it's Tracy Williams has to go over here.
Yeah, it's the Catch Powers Explode.
Then you have Togo versus Paige. I think Dick Togo's, again, a legend, but I don't see any reason why he wins this night either.
No, it would be strange for him to go 0-2, so maybe he beats Hero, but I don't know.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna say he beats Paige. I mean, not that he beats Paige. Paige beats him on the night. So I think you need to, have Paige go over strong this weekend, going into the future.
Mm-hmm.
And then the main event is Ricochet versus Matt Riddle. I don't even know what to say. That's gonna be sick. Ricochet is just fantastic to watch. I like that he's been on the Evolve cards as of late, and Riddle's just amazing. He gets better every time he's in the ring. He actually tweeted out the other day, "My best promo ever," and I think Trevin Adams was going over the card, and they brought him in, and like, "What do you think?" And he's like, "Bro." And then that's basically it. He said it's his best promo ever. I just think he's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to him and Ricochet. It's a little bit of a clash in styles, and I think that'll be really cool to see how they counter each other and that sort of a thing.
Yep. All right. Any last thoughts on any of the shows?
No, that's pretty much it.
All right, so right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take you to an interview. We'll have two quick interviews, one with Adam Cole and with Kyle O'Reilly right before Final Battle. So sit back and enjoy. All right, we're here with Adam Cole, Bebe. Adam, thank you for giving us some time.
Oh, absolutely. It's good to be here. It's Final Battle tonight, so I'm beyond amped up, man. I'm ready to go.
This entire rivalry with Kyle O'Reilly started, you guys were in Future Shock at first, and then you guys split up, and then you guys kind of got back together. Was there ever a part of you that really meant that reunion to last?
Yeah, it's so funny because anytime Future Shock has come together, regardless, even from its inception, like Future Shock was kind of a mistake. It was Ring of Honor going, okay, we want to sign these two young, hungry guys, but we don't really know what we want to do with them. And then, fortunately, the team stuck, and we had some really cool tag matches together. Then me coming back from injury and us doing a little Future Shock reunion there, again, that wasn't any kind of long-term plan. That was kind of like, hey, let's see if there's any steam here, and there was. So, of course, there is a part of me, there's always been a part of me that has said, I wonder what it would be like if me and Kyle truly committed to a Future Shock reunion, how cool it could be. But then again, at the same time, you wouldn't get the epic battles and wars between myself and Kyle. So definitely pros and cons to both, but Kyle's a guy that I'm going to be married to probably for a long, long time in pro wrestling.
So now you did say that, if he does not win tonight, this is the end. You do not plan on having another match with him. Are you going to? How can you possibly stick to that when you guys are two of the most skilled athletes in the company?
Yeah, well, my thought and process was saying that whole thing was Kyle has gotten so many opportunities at the Ring of Honor World Title. I've shut him down each and every time. So as far as I'm concerned, this 6-year odyssey or rivalry between myself and Kyle has got to come to a close at some point. And as far as I'm concerned, if I beat Kyle tonight on Ring of Honor's biggest stage of Final Battle, and in my opinion, the best building that Ring of Honor runs events in the Hammerstein Ballroom, live on pay-per-view for the world to see, there is no question anymore who is better between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. So pretty much I plan on proving to everybody that Kyle's just not my league.
Wrestling all over the world, you've been to so many different venues. What makes Hammerstein in New York so special for you?
Well, the New York City fans themselves have always been some of the most notoriously passionate wrestling fans there are. But again, for me and Kyle O'Reilly specifically, I had a match here back in 2012, which was called a hybrid fighting rules match. And it was a match that really, to be quite honest, me and Kyle were both still fairly new in Ring of Honor, just getting our feet wet. And the fans themselves weren't super interested in this match. They weren't. They respected me and Kyle as performers, but they really kind of hadn't been taken on any sort of ride to really get invested in this match until about halfway through when Kyle O'Reilly busted my mouth open and the blood was literally squirting out of my mouth, covering my face and chest. And it changed the entire dynamic. I've said this before. I think that was to a lesser extent, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bret Hart, WrestleMania 13 moment, where the fans kind of simultaneously decided, hey, we're going to get behind this guy and we're going to support this guy, because a week later I went on to become television champion for Ring of Honor for the first time. So that's a big reason for me personally why the New York fans are so special to me and so special to Ring of Honor.
Being one of the very few ever ROH two-time world champions, what is going to set you apart when people look back at your title reigns from everybody else?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing with me is when you look at the Adam Cole character. Under no circumstances has Adam Cole ever done anything alone. I in some way, shape, or form always have someone watching my back, always have someone who is looking out for my best interests. I've tried to be as diabolical about the way I go about things as possible. You can see that in the story time segments that I do or promos that I do. But for me, I like the idea, and I understand that when I come out in a lot of cities, the Ring of Honor fans do cheer and appreciate what I do. But when that bell rings and that match starts, the people are always rooting for the guy across the ring from me. So I really just want to be remembered as a guy that, as far as the two-time champion goes, a guy that people were really entertained, really had a good time, and really wanted that challenger to win the belt.
You know, you brought up the idea that, you know, you always have somebody watching your back. What's it like being able to have, you know, Matt and Nick always watching your back and traveling the world with them? Because it's clear that it's not just something that's going on in the ring. You know, from little videos and everything that you guys post up online, the friendship seems real there.
Oh, yeah, it's 100% real. It really got serious and very real for us around when the Mount Rushmore of wrestling started in PWG. So much so that there was a group text between myself, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, and Kevin Owens that still lasts to this day. The four of us are really, really tight. But the Bucks are guys that have always just been so cool, so upfront, so honest with me, and just extremely supportive, which I've been the same with them. So to have the best tag team in the world have your back, and these are guys too, just to be clear, when I go to Japan or we travel anywhere, I just have an absolute blast with these guys. When we film the Being the Elite videos, it's so much fun. It makes all that in-between, time-killing stuff on the road a lot more exciting when you get to do it with some of your best friends.
You know, speaking of PWG, you know, what's that experience like? Because, you know, it's very different from other promotions. It's got such a rabid following. And also, it has not expanded to a larger venue. You know, the venues are always very tiny. And something that I haven't seen a lot myself is the idea that the fans are right up on the ring. How does that affect, you know, what you're doing there?
Yeah, PWG is the most like a rock concert roller coaster ride of any promotion I've ever worked for. Those fans are some of the most passionate, loud fans, not just in the States, but in the entire world of pro wrestling. It's amazing that a small little building that sells out with 400 people in it is some of the most exciting pro wrestling you can find anywhere. Those YouTube previews blow my mind, and I was on the show. You know, they're crazy. But PWG has magic. I think that's a big reason they don't try to expand or move on to a bigger building, because they realize what they have is special. You know, if PWG decided to run a 2,000-seat venue and 1,000 people showed up, it wouldn't have the same Pro Wrestling Guerrilla atmosphere. Them running those events the way they do and not having to worry about pay-per-views or anything like that, they can run each and every show they do exactly how they want to. And again, lots of times we show up to those shows just jet-lagged, exhausted, but those fans always come ready to go and excited from the first match to the last match. It doesn't make a difference. I owe PWG a lot to my career, because I actually had a run there as PWG World Champion before I became Ring of Honor Champion, so it kind of got me ready for that pressure or responsibility of leading the charge or main eventing a card. And it certainly helped me develop the current Adam Cole character that you see today.
You know, so kind of transitioning from the idea that you were, you know, you love PWG in these smaller venues. You know, you're one of the top stars in Ring of Honor, and there's always talk about Ring of Honor stars moving on, you know, and moving to WWE. You're so passionate about the smaller fan base. How do you feel about the idea of going there and being in a 20,000-seat arena with fans every night?
Sure. I mean, obviously that sounds extremely exciting. I mean, the adrenaline rush that those guys must get must be unreal for sure. But you know, I've said this before, and this is really where I stand on it. First and foremost, if I told you straight to your face that I never wanted to have a WrestleMania moment, I'd be lying to you. You know, of course, I love what we do. I love this job so much that I do want that for myself someday. But the biggest thing for me, the two biggest things, is one, timing is everything, and two, taking everything a day at a time, because there's so much in pro wrestling that you can't control. And what I have in front of me right now is I'm the current two-time Ring of Honor World Champion. I just started my career over in New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is a whole new area that I could dive into. So for me, I just focus each and every day on what I can do to be a better performer, what I can do to continue to grow the Adam Cole brand, and just kind of see where everything takes me. The coolest thing about pro wrestling in 2016, it's the closest thing to the Attitude Era that we've had, as far as with people showing up in different places. Guys, everyone's favorite independent stars are showing up in WWE. You have WWE guys leaving to come to the independents, like Cody Rhodes. So it's a really cool time to be a wrestler. It's an even better time to be a wrestling fan. That's how I look at it.
Well, I have to agree on that one. So what are in the storybooks for Adam Cole in 2017? Well, once you perhaps vanquish Kyle O'Reilly tonight, where do you move on? How do you continue to make your name and make your own story?
Yeah. The two biggest things I focus on is, number one, making the Ring of Honor title even more prestigious than it already is. To me, it's the most important belt in North America. It's the most respected heavyweight championship there is, and I hold that title with pride. So I plan on holding on to the Ring of Honor championship for a very long time. And also on top of that, it's continuing to make the Bullet Club grow into something that it's never seen before. Bullet Club is without a doubt the most popular, influential wrestling faction we've seen in years. And in turn, that means I'm going to have to really make an impact over in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So my plans for 2017 is definitely to go over to New Japan, really try to become a star, really develop myself over there, and show what I can bring to the table to the Japanese wrestling audience. So I got a lot on my plate for 2017, that's for sure.
Well, thank you very much for your time. Where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah, I have a Twitter at Adam Cole Pro. That's where you'll access me probably the most. I also have an Instagram, Adam Cole Pro, Facebook.com/Adam Cole Bebe, I believe, is my like page, and then also a website run by a guy, Dan Mitchell, over in the UK, does a great job. Again, AdamColePro.com. That has my schedule, T-shirts, DVDs, all that fun stuff. So yeah, you can check me out on those outlets.
All right. Well, best of luck tonight and in 2017 going forward.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, so as you guys can hear, we're really just moments away from final battle starting off tonight. Kyle, what does this night mean to you?
This is just 11 years of being a professional wrestler is accumulating to this moment. This is a big, I'm main eventing the Hammerstein Ballroom for Ring of Honor's biggest show of the year. It's extremely special and it's gratifying. It's cool to know that, regardless of what happens after this moment, I can look back at this moment and be proud of where I made it in my wrestling career.
So, taking on Adam Cole, somebody you've had a long storied history with, does that make tonight that much more special?
We've been bitter rivals and tag partners for the last 7 years. And it is special. Like, as much as we are bitter blood rivals, I owe my career to Adam Cole. I feel this feud has taken me to the next level, and as a singles wrestler, it's kept me relevant.
So, speaking of singles wrestling now, you've been tagging with Bobby Fish for a very long time now. Do you enjoy being part of a tag team more, or part of being a singles competitor?
There's things that I love about both. The tag thing with Bobby is the most fun I've had in my whole wrestling career, and it's some of my favorite work that I've done in my wrestling career as well. Having a tag partner to rely on, it takes away a lot of the pressure, and I love tag wrestling. And tag matches are so fun. Singles wrestling, it's just different. It's a lot more pressure. It's a lot. You got to be a little more creative, I guess, and. There's aspects from both that I like. Tonight is obviously a big singles match, and I wouldn't change that for anything. But I'm definitely proud of being labeled a tag team wrestler as well.
So, what have you done since you've been in New York for the last couple of days, getting ready for the event? Anything exciting? Maybe go to see the tree or something?
No, I got in last night, so we got all day off tomorrow. So I'm gonna probably go see Hamilton.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, cool. And then, you guys are also going down to Atlanta for center stage for the first time.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, going to, one of the most iconic, I guess, venues in North America?
Oh, yeah, that'll be cool as hell. We worked center stage for WrestleMania weekend a few years ago when they were in Atlanta. So we've done the center stage thing before, and actually me and Adam Cole tag teamed on those shows. But yeah, it's a super cool building with a really great atmosphere, and it's nice to be back in actual proper Atlanta again.
What are you looking forward to in your career for 2017?
Just going to keep trying to do what I've been doing these last 11 years, and that's just be the best professional wrestler I can possibly be. Keep doing my thing over here in ROH, keep doing my thing over in New Japan, and we'll see what other opportunities arise.
Speaking of New Japan, what is like one of your favorite memories or moments about being able to wrestle over there?
Just the whole concept of getting to wrestle over there in the first place is amazing. When you step between those ropes in that blue ring, there's nothing really like it. It's a very special place, and the fans treat it as such. They treat it like a real sport, and it's so respected. And so, just getting over there and to be treated so well by the company and by the fans and by the wrestlers, it's the whole package is my favorite thing about it.
Is there a certain competitor that you've been able to go against there that is kind of super memorable for you?
I've had some memorable ones with Kushida, absolutely, and the finals of the Best of the Super Juniors, I think, last year. And I recently had a match with Shibata over there that was pretty cool as well, which was in the Ryogoku Sumo Hall, and that was another pretty cool moment for my career.
What is it like wrestling outdoors? Like, so, during you fought Shibata at Field of Honor,
right,
in a pretty brutal kind of match right there. What's different about wrestling outdoors as opposed to wrestling indoors on that Field of Honor tour?
It's just different. Like the crowd sound doesn't carry as well as an intimate indoors venue. It's just different. You're outside, it just doesn't feel the same. Something about it, but it's cool as well. Like it's a nice treat that we get to do that once a year and shake things up.
Excellent. So basically, I just wanted to ask, how did you get into the wrestling business overall? How did you decide to, make this your career?
I think a lot of guys will probably just give the same answer, in the sense that you grow up loving something and wanting to do it, and then the guys that do it are just the ones that never grew out of that phase. And so we just pursued it and always knew that we would make it happen, and always, in the back of my mind, I always knew I'd eventually be able to make money off of wrestling, and you persevere and you put in the work and the time, and eventually it pays off.
What would you attribute your specific style? I would say that it's kind of more of a hybrid style. It's not your typical catch-as-can wrestling. It's kind of got some MMA elements. Where did that originate?
Just trying to do something different, man, and try and create sort of my own blend and showcase wrestling how I like to observe it as well, and that's just make the most realistic, logical series of moves and psychology that I can do. And I think it's still playing with it and still trying to develop it and see what works and see what doesn't work. And I'm just happy doing my own thing as well.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time. Thank you. Where can we find you on the internet?
I use the internet on Instagram. I like KOR Combat, and Twitter is the same.
All right, well, best of luck tonight, and I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, man. Cheers. Enjoy the show.
All right, so just really, interesting stuff from both those guys, just both down to earth, pretty cool guys. It's nice to see that they were able to, these guys have been going at it for years, and they pulled off another good one, and, I don't think that story's done just yet between the two of them, and really just want to extend a word of thanks to both of them for, just being able to sit down and give us a couple minutes to pick their brain.
Right, and thanks for Ring of Honor for granting you that access and allowing that to happen.
So amazingly appreciated. Just a couple of good dudes over there. All right, so with all that out of the way, just want to remind you guys that you guys can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and also Stitcher. Please be sure to leave a rating. Like us, follow us on iTunes. Leave a review. We don't get paid for this, so any feedback there is fantastic. You can also send us feedback at runningwildpodcast@gmail.com. You can send us trivia. Or you guys can send us angry comments about our show. Tell me to shut up more. Talk about our incorrect predictions. Talk about how our opinions are trash. Anything. Send it over. Then also go over to pwponderings.com, where you can find all of my extensive Ring of Honor coverage, and head over to Last Word on prowrestling.com for some more coverage there. You can catch me on the weekly newscast over at PW Ponderings as well, and about once a month or twice a month you can catch me on the Podcast of Honor as well, where we talk about Ring of Honor for a very long time.
All right, and for those of you guys still listening,
We have the rules to our contest to win 2 tickets to a Glory Pro show on February 19th in Alton, Illinois. It's the company, the brainchild, basically, of Michael Elgin. So here are the rules to the contest. You guys can win 2 second-row seats to the show just by tweeting out the hashtag BigMikeVerse and then tag somebody you'd like to see him fight at the second show that they will have. So make sure that in your post on Twitter you tag @GloryPro and @RunningWildLWOS, and you make sure you include the hashtag BigMikeVerse and then tag somebody else in it. And we will be collecting all the different people who include that hashtag in their tweet, and we will announce the winners in early February, so you have plenty of time to make sure you get that tweet in and get a chance to win those 2 tickets.
Got anything left, Runz?
No, that's it.
All right, man. So with all that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, just want to remind you that you'll be listening to the podcast that is just too
Sweet!